here, Georgie. It's a nice boat. You want it back? Popcorn. Pop, 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 pop. For 27 years, I dreamt of you. I craved you. I missed you. We all float down here.
What is up, Flick fans? Guess who's back again?
You all know what we're talking about today. We are talking It Chapter 2. Obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of the first movie. Madison, did you enjoy the first film?
I did. I enjoyed it, Austin. In fact, we watched it last night to refresh our memories.
We had to get prepared. And by the way, this is Madison. She's joining me for this thing. We just got out of the second film. We're going to talk about it.
Well, we ate after.
That's true. We ate a lot of food. So 27 years after their first encounter with terrifying Pennywise, the Losers Club have grown up and moved away until a devastating phone call brings them back.
Okay, buddy, say hi. Look, the camera's right there. No, not that camera. Dad says you're not supposed to look at that one. You're supposed to look at that one. Good boy.
Now, of course, I need you guys in the comments section letting me know, how did you feel about this film, and did it live up to your expectations building over the last 2 years? Madison, let's start with you. Did this movie live up to your expectations? Did it exceed your expectations? What are your first thoughts coming out of the film?
I'd like to start by saying that I've not read the book.
Okay, that's a good preface. Neither have I. Neither of us have.
So I have no idea what was supposed to happen at the ending, whether it was similar to the book or not. So yeah, I mean, it lived up to what expectations that I had.
I was going in expecting, I think, a bit more than I got, and I want to premise with the fact that I liked the film. I had a good time with the movie, but I have more issues than I had with the first. It's true.
That is true. I looked over at you and you're like...
Well, yeah, there were a few moments.
Semi-amused.
There are a few moments, and that's the thing when you build up expectations. And when you love the first movie, like I love the first movie so much, but one thing that I loved about the first movie, Madison, is the fact that it was a wonderful coming-of-age story, and those elements are in this film. It's not like they go without the Losers Club that we love from the first. It's just what takes up the majority of the time in this movie I didn't find as engaging. And I found the movie too long, right? It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I've been through longer movies this year. It feels like this year is the year of going back to how it used to be, especially when you have The Irishman coming out in a few months. And that's going to be like 3 hours and 30 minutes. But the length really it's an issue with this film because they just go off in different directions that I wasn't necessarily a fan of, and directions that I don't think complemented the end game, the finale of this story, as well as I think the director intended. Madison, what were some issues, and we'll start there since we've already started on that note, what were some issues that you found with It Chapter 2?
I am a practical effects kind of person. And it has practical effects, I mean, some, but it relies heavily on the CGI, which is fine. Like, the CGI looked good, like, not doubting that, but I just love practical effects way more.
Well, I don't think the CGI looked all that great. I think certain moments looked really good, and then other moments you're just like, eek. And it didn't have the horrifying element that I think it was going for in that scene. And there were multiple moments, but there's one in particular I'm thinking of. I'm like, that could have been a lot scarier if maybe they would have went down the practical route. Now, like she said, they do go down the practical route multiple times, and those moments worked really well. I found this movie less scary than I thought it was going to be. I wanted It Chapter 2 to be scary, and it didn't.
I think that was the point, though. The first movie wasn't that scary. Like, this isn't, to me, a horror film. This is almost like a thriller / comedy. Is that even like a category?
Well, I think with this film it is. But the thing that I love about the first is the fact that it was a great coming-of-age story, and I felt like the movie ran a bit smoother. With this, you kind of put those things that I loved on the back burner, and you focus on them as adults, which is great because the cast, and we'll get into the cast, phenomenal. I mean, even the actors whom I didn't really know who they were before going in, and now I'm like, these guys are really good, and I want to see more of them. And obviously, we have Jessica Chastain and James McAvoy, and Bill Hader, I think Bill Hader stole the entire movie. He is fantastic as Richie. I know everybody's been saying it in their reviews, but I want to capitalize on the fact that this guy stole the entire movie, and I know you were laughing at him throughout the entire thing, and that's another thing I really enjoyed about this film is the humor, I think, trumps almost everything because of the chemistry from the cast and the fact that I was laughing just as much during It Chapter 2 than I have almost all year. Madison, how did you feel about the cast? Sorry, transitioning. How did you feel about the cast, Bill Hader, and the humor in the film?
Of course, Bill Hader did good. I had no doubts. I feel like people, like comedians, are some of the best secret actors. Like, they've never been given a serious part because they're always playing the silly parts. Same with, like, Jim Carrey. He can play super serious, even though he's goofy all the time. But the movie was really funny. I laughed at least 50% of the film.
Yeah, you were. I mean, she's not just saying, oh, I giggled. No, she was probably louder than anyone else in the movie. You were gut busting. It was so funny. But it's a great point about Bill Hader because like a show like Barry, and I'm catching up on that show, he's phenomenal in that show. Even a movie like The Skeleton Twins, I mean, the guy, he has it right, and we're slowly starting to see that he can do what we saw in this movie, and that's not just comedy, which he nailed, it's emotion. And the end of this film, without diving into spoilers, it is extremely emotional, and you feel that the Losers Club, it's all come to this. It's all come to this point in their lives, and that's what I think lifted this movie above what it could have been, is there's an extra layer of emotion that I wasn't expecting, and even though there are parts of the film clearly that I wasn't the biggest fan of, a few awkward lines of dialogue, and what's the transition you brought up at the end during the third act? There's a weird transition from one character to the other.
It was literally just like a head-on shot. Someone says something, and then they transition.
Yeah, and then they transition to all of them going down into them just like that. We looked at each other. Even you noticed it.
What?
Yeah, and there are multiple times in the movie like that, and it's like the editing is not as good as the first, and
It's tight.
It's not as tight, yeah, and then there are a few moments with characters that I just feel like they could have moved away, and this movie could have been a bit shorter, and I would have been able to pee sooner. Sorry.
God, you never can hold it.
I tried.
You can't even get drinks at the theater.
I know. And once again, I had a good time with this movie. It's just the expectation level was so high for me as such a big fan of the first one. Madison, do you have any more negatives that you want to speak of before we give our final thoughts?
I will say, I just feel like there was going to be a better backstory to Pennywise.
Yeah.
Or, I don't even know if better, but like, actually like delve into it.
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, they followed the source material from Stephen King.
Stephen King, I don't get it.
Yeah, there were a few. Well, there were a few things, and I think I wanted to see more Pennywise. I mean, Pennywise is in the movie, right? But he's not in the film near as much as the clown Pennywise. I know he turns into all of these other, and they were in there, they were present, messing with their characters, and that's kind of what the movie was. It felt like a rinse and repeat cycle at a point. It's like, we're going to show this character, and they're going to find the thing, and then they're going to get scared. We're going to show this character, they're going to find the thing, and they're going to get scared. And I enjoyed many, many elements of those stories, right? And I really enjoyed these characters because the actors that they got for these characters were just so spot on. But I wanted to see something a bit different in terms of the story, and I needed more Pennywise the Clown, aka our boy Skarsgård, who is phenomenal. And I think the performance, while maybe he's not in it as much, I mean, he's phenomenal in the movie. And one more thing that I will say, they kind of de-aged the younger cast, the Losers Club. I did notice it a bit on their faces and the mouth movements. Yeah, it was a bit too noticeable for me. They were still really good, and when we go back to that cast, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I just want more of them because they are all so good together, but moments of the CGI and then certain flashbacks I thought were brilliant, the way they transitioned the camera, and it felt like a very fluid cut to the past, and then other transitions, they would just do the white screen or do this really obvious transition. I'm like, why not be consistent with your transitions? I know once minor critique. I'm just giving you guys all of the issues that I had with the movie.
I will say, I thought they did, not only was the cast amazing, they really kind of looked like the younger kids. Like, how lucky could they get with people that can act that awesome, and they look like the younger kids, especially Ben.
Oh my God, yeah.
They look so similar in the face. I was like, okay, what?
Yeah, the fact that they got top tier talent to look like the kids that portrayed the same character in the first movie. I mean, it was really incredible, and I give kudos to everyone behind the scenes. And Andy Muschietti, even though I do have my issues with this movie, and clearly I don't like it as much as the first, but Andy Muschietti did a wonderful job with this series, with both of these movies. Consistency, the filmmaking, just focusing on that real quick, the cinematography was great,
Yeah.
the color was awesome. I loved the look and the feel, and the music is incredible with these movies. He kept it consistent. I really like the directing. Madison, any more thoughts before we go into our score?
That is a good point. Like, both movies were consistently the same color,
Very.
the same style, the same, just even speed-wise, I think. Yeah, this movie was really long, but
Yes.
like the way that
Pacing.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Madison, your favorite part of the video. Time to give your score, girl.
Okay, since this movie is really different, just like it's a horror, a thrill-medy.
Yeah, thrill-medy. There you go.
It's gonna be in a different category in my brain, so it has to have like a unique score.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with a 76.
76? No, you're very close to where I was going. I'm going 73 with it, Chapter 2. We're a lot closer than I thought we were going to be because it's... But I know I gave a lot of negatives in this review. It's just because of my expectation level. I like the movie. It is absolutely worth a theatrical experience. Not the most scared you'll be in the theater all year,
No.
but you're going to have a great time. You're going to love this cast. There are so many things to love in it, Chapter 2.
It still has your jump scares. I mean, if you're into that, because I'm into that.
Yeah. And
not
they
that- it's
got
not
you. They didn't really get me, but they got her.
I'll forget you.
They never get me. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I think we both liked it, Chapter 2, and I want to see what you think in the comments down below.
Wow.
What?
I just hope nobody can see how bad you're burnt and your skin's peeling off. Thanks, guys. He'll catch you in his next video.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank
Thumbs
you
up.
for subscribing. And if you enjoyed this
Notification
video,
bell.
be sure to hit this thumbs up. She gonna be back very soon. In what? I don't know. Are you coming back?
Maybe if there's a good movie that I'm interested in and I want to tell them about it.